Today we're going to talk about all the albums that, just like us, weren't quite good enough to be included in any lists on the Extended Play Podcast with Ian Tank.
It's the Extended Play Podcast with Ian Tank. We are a music discussion show without the hipster snobbery. You all right over there?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Don't worry about me.
You know, I think we
apropos open.
Absolutely. No, I'd say if there was a list of like the most underrated podcasts.
Oh, absolutely.
Best looking co-hosts. Yeah. All right, I gave it a shot. I thought I could speak it into existence.
Maybe if they drank enough Shanky's Whip.
That's right. Shanky's Whip. It's good shit. Nailed the ad read there.
Yep.
Yeah, so this week, did I already say our tagline? We are a music discussion show without the hipster snobbery. Okay.
Now we got it covered.
All right. If you're just joining us for the first time, or if you're not, and you just are one of the few people that, well, not the few, the majority of people that watch our show but don't subscribe to us.
Exactly.
Or follow us on your podcast platform of choice, please like and subscribe.
Right.
Yeah. In this episode, it's kind of part of our series of the EP 100, where we're counting down the top 100 albums of our lifetime, 1980 to 2020. Except you don't get the top 10 just yet, everybody. Sorry about it.
No.
We're sticking to that every other week thing that we've been doing. So this week, you're going to get the contenders.
Right.
So Tank's going to explain how we came up with this
because
concept.
You know, you've just seen 20 through 10, and you're about to see 10 through 1. And spoiler, it's good albums. But in case you're wondering, hey, what about my favorite album? You know, I like this, or how, you know, so far I've been watching and I haven't seen this album yet. You know, why the hell's it not on the list? What we're going to talk about now is what we call the contenders, the ones that made it down to the list of 198, but then did not make it onto the EP 100. Right. So if you go back to the 100 through 90 episode, we spend the first 20 minutes or so going through the process of how we got down to the 100 and how we ended up ranking them. In that process, there's some discussion, there's some graphics, but basically it goes from about 700 albums down to 198. And then the 198 gets looked at pretty closely, and we both made our own list of 100 out of that 198. And then we brought them together and said, okay, looking at our feedback, let's pick the 100. So out of that 198, of course, 98 don't make it because 198 minus 100 equals 98.
I'm not good at maths, but even I could figure that out.
It checks out. If you want to hit pause and go run it on your, just go ahead. So that means that there's 98 albums that we think was close enough, but not quite there.
Yeah. And we're going to spend the next 10 hours reviewing every single one of them.
In detail. No, thankfully we won't be doing that. Now, however, this 98 kind of gets broken into two groups. With a group that it made it to the list, but then both of us didn't see it as a top 100. Right. And then there's another group where one of us did put it in our top 100, the other guy didn't, and in the course of negotiations and naked Greco-Roman wrestling, they did make the EP 100.
That's right.
And by the way, the naked Greco-Roman wrestling, part of season 6 coming soon.
That's why we had needed to build a new studio.
Right.
I mean, you should see the damage behind the camera over here.
Dude,
I mean, there's just bodily fluids and holes in the wall.
Black mold. I mean, we had like a disaster recovery service come in and just no quote it. They're like, guys,
just scrap the whole thing.
Out of my pay.
Were you guys naked Greco-Roman wrestling in here?
Yeah.
Yes, we were.
Yeah. Gave us a business card for an excavation company and left. So we'll get that first half out of the way of the stuff that neither one of us thought was worth the top 100, but very good albums nonetheless. Still, one of the 200 best albums of our lifetime, which are still pretty fucking good albums.
And like always, I'll put a list of all these albums or a playlist of them in the show notes.
Yep. All right. Because this would still be statistically like roughly 5 best albums of the year.
Sure.
Right. I mean, that's no small potatoes.
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of small potatoes.
I like small potatoes.
I like potatoes of all forms.
Yeah.
Really any kind of carb.
Sure.
Big fan.
Sure.
I knew this was coming, but I wasn't. It was just so fucking let down when it happened. I'm at the Taco Bell drive-thru the other day. The one at Crooks in 59, actually. Okay. I'm in the drive-thru, and I pull up, and it's a fucking like Amazon Alexa type voice saying like, "What would you like?"
Oh no!
Like, God damn it! You knew it was coming.
Yeah, because they already do like the little. It's not.
No, it's not the pre-recorded.
Oh,
which is its own. That's its own circle of hell. There's some chipper guy on first shift recording it, right. And then you start talking, and then you get someone on like 20 pounds of Quaaludes. Like, right. Can you hold on a minute? What was that? No, so it's straight up, and I'm like, God, I hope that there's someone. I'm sure there's someone listening inside, because it did their whole spiel, and I'm like, oh, fucking A was the first thing out of my mouth. And I were like, okay, a bean burrito minus onion plus sour cream. And they're like, would you like anything else? It's all, I mean, it did get most of it right.
Okay.
But then it's like, we're doing this now?
I guess. You're right. It was a matter of time.
Oh, so fuck off whoever thought of that. Like, the precious few human interactions we have on a daily basis.
Right. And you're not looking for a lot of human interaction. So it's saying a lot if this bothered you.
No, but it's like, okay, and it's going to fuck everything up. And then it's going to say, is it right? You're going to say, no, God forbid you have any kind of special order.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
That it's not expecting to hear.
Yes.
And then you're going to have to pull up to the window. Oh,
and then repeat the whole thing.
So anyway, rest in peace, drive-through banter, I guess. It's a good name for a band.
Drive-through banter.
Okay, write that down.
I'm taking a lot of notes. Drive-through banter. I already lost the notes for our last one. Breakfast something.
Yes. So the albums that were they were candidates, but we didn't quite put them in the 100, either one of us. In alphabetical order, roughly. Tupac, All Eyes on Me. Fiona Apple, Fetch the Bolt Cutters. Arctic Monkeys, AM. Beck, Odelay. Depeche Mode, Violator. Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms. Drive-By Truckers, American Band. Eminem, The Eminem Show. Faith No More, The Real Thing. That was hard for me to leave off. Showed some restraint there. Mm-hmm. Florence and the Machine, Ceremonials. Fugees, The Score. Peter Gabriel, So. Green Day, American Idiot. PJ Harvey, Rid of Me. Don Henley, The End of the Innocents. I pushed for that one, but it couldn't quite make it. Yeah. Lauryn Hill, Miseducational Lauryn Hill. Yeah. You hear that, Apple? Yeah. We said it's between 100 and 200, which is where it deserves to be.
I think that's fair.
Not number one.
Yeah. Probably closer to 200 than 100.
Yeah. Spoiler, it's not in the top 10. Okay. Hate to ruin it for you.
Right.
So anyway, Jane's Addiction, Nothing Shocking. Jay-Z, The Blueprint. Jesus and Mary Chain, Psycho Candy. Joy Division, Closer. Katie Lang, Ingenue?
Ingenue.
Mm-hmm. Ingenue. Enchanté. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
No, thanks.
Okay. I don't blame you. Yeah. Pass. I really need to get that pass drop ready. Where were we? Lil Wayne, The Carter 3, LL Cool J Radio, Lord Melodrama, Madonna Like a Prayer, George Michael Faith. I'm kind of surprised that didn't make it in the Moby Play, Modest Mouse, The Lonesome Crowded West, Casey Musgraves, Golden Hour.
Oh, yeah.
New artist.
Yep.
Or, I mean, new artist for our list.
Yeah.
Nirvana and Utero, No Doubt, Tragic Kingdom, Notorious B.I.G., Ready to Die. I don't like B.I.G.
I would have been pushing that.
Yeah. Pearl Jam, Vitalogy. Made it close. So if you're wondering, it was close.
Yeah, it was.
REM Document, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Californication, Replacements, Let It Be, Run DMC, Run the Jewels, RTJ, which is RTJ1, I might add. Sade, Love Deluxe, Paul Simon, Graceland, Sturgill Simpson, Sailor's Guide to Earth, love that album. Bruce Springsteen, Nebraska, which I'm sure is on every critic's list, but we just...
Yeah, it's pretty high up there. I like it. Yeah, it was fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Which, it's still top 200.
Yeah.
Sufjan Stevens, Illinois, and Carrie and Lowell. Lowell. Mm-hmm. So he had two that almost made it. System of a Down, Toxicity. Talking Heads, Stop Making Sense. Flaming Lips, The Soft Bulletin. The Offspring, Smash. The Police, Ghost in the Machine. The Smiths. Tyler, the Creator, Flower Boy. We put some thought into Flower Boy or Igor.
Yes.
We thought Flower Boy was slightly better, but then still not in the 100.
Yeah.
We say that because we know he's the hotness right now.
Yeah, Chromacopia at the time of recording just came out.
Yes. Weezer, Pinkerton, which I know is a kind of a hot point issue of Weezer fans.
Point of contention for sure.
And then 3 Kanye West albums, because I tried. But The College Dropout, 808s and Heartbreak, and Yeezus did not make the cut into the 100. And then Amy Winehouse, Back to Black. So all of those, very good albums. We think in the top 200. If you heard one that you really like, there you go. We haven't forgotten about your favorites. It just wasn't quite the top 100.
That's right.
But then there were another, 30 or 40 or so that one of us did pick and didn't quite make it. And now we're going to talk about those.
I'm sure. I can start.
Sure. All right. Tired of hearing about me from you.
So the first one I chose to talk about, and these are as Tank described, things that were kind of near and dear to our hearts that probably weren't going to make it. We were shooting our shot to see if they would make it, and they just didn't. So my first one was Turn on the Bright Lights by Interpol. Okay. One of my favorites. Came out in 2002, 11 songs, 49 minutes. It's their debut. So this was a case where, we mentioned this in the podcast before, where an album was oversold as being the next great thing when it came out. Context is everything when it comes to Interpol, and I think the Yeahs, White Stripes, and that kind of stuff. There was this big rebirth in rock music at this particular time, and people got overly excited about it, and they thought Strokes would be the other one.
Oh, Jesus.
Right. So, which also is on my list of one of those albums that did not make it. Is this it? Their debut. So you can't separate the context from the album. It's almost impossible to do so. When I think about this album, I think about that time. That being said, I love it. I listen to it all the time. Nothing sounds like them. They're their own thing, and they always sound like themselves. So it just creates a sonic landscape. It's like New York City at night. Another thing, context, like the dudes all wore black suits, like so you picture it's like the Hives.
I was gonna say, Interpol and Hives in my head are. If I didn't know the Hives better, like I do now, they were interchangeable.
And it's part of the vibe, right? And it fits the music really well. So the album's sequenced really well. There's the tempo changes at the right point. It's of the time, but not stuck there. I really dig it. So check out Interpol. Turn on the Bright Lights. You want to dig into some others, or?
I have like a sentence or two on each of mine.
Yeah.
So, want to do one more yours, and then I'll run through some of mine.
Sure. The next one I want to talk about really briefly was Sound of Silver by LCD Sound System. Okay. This 2007, 9 songs, 56 minutes. 9 songs, 56 minutes. I thought, well, not one of my favorite albums. It's a great album, and it would have made a nice addition to the list in that there's nothing else like it. This sort of dance punk thing they have going on.
Is that the one that has Dance Yourself Clean on it?
It does not.
Okay.
No, this one has Someone Great, which you would know if I played it. It has a very memorable beat to it. And All My Friends, they're probably their biggest song. So anyway, their second album came out in 2007. I watched a documentary. They did a documentary when they were breaking up. The last few shows they were ever going to play at Madison Square Garden, they ended up reuniting like 3 years later. So it seemed kind of stupid. But live, they look absolutely amazing. So you've got a group that makes dance music essentially, but with live musicians, which I think is a really cool thing, right? Yeah. The live drums on this record sound so fantastic when you've got all the other synths and all that kind of stuff. James Murphy's voice is weird, and I like weird. I like weird. Yeah, I do like weird. Easy to sing along to. There's a lot of sing along type moments on this album. I don't know. It's semi lo-fi, makes it sound timeless. It could fit in any era, really. Yeah. If it came out today, you go, oh yeah, sure, that came out today. Yeah. So that's another one I thought should be on the list, or one I lobbied for at one point.
Yeah. I think if I had to pick a couple, if we're going to have like 2 or 3 that we really wanted on there.
Yeah.
Looking at my list here, I would say probably Till the Sun Turns Black, the Ray LaMontagne
That's
album.
A good
one. My note I have here is that it's the male counterpart to Falling Towards Ecstasy.
Right, yes. Which made our list, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I think it's like the dude version of that.
Okay.
Not really standout tracks per se, but a vibe all the way through.
Yes.
Solid all the way through.
Yes.
Memorable songs. Even if you don't remember the names, you remember like the songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I still think the best transition between 2 songs ever. Which is
the opening. Is it the opening track?
No, it's the last 2.
Oh, it's the last 2. Okay.
It's
wait for it.
Till the Sun Turns Black, followed by like fuck. I can hear it in my head. No, but you would swear on your life it was one song.
Okay.
If you were listening to it, because there's no break in between the songs,
but they're distinct. Like the vibe change, not the vibe. But,
I'm looking it up. You can edit this shit out, but I'm looking it up.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right. Till I want to say Without You, but that's Motley Crue. It's not that. Till the Sun Turns Black. Yeah, Band-Aid really fucks up your swiping ability, by the way.
Damn cats.
Fucking cats. All right. Wikipedia. Terrible album cover, though.
It's just black, right?
It's a flashlight.
Yeah. Oh, it's a flashlight? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Within You. That was close.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. From Till the Sun Turns Black to Within You.
Okay.
It's like Till the Sun Turns Black kind of is fading, and then it's like the tambourine, and it's like uplifting.
Yes,
whatever.
I remember it now.
Listen to the last two songs on Till the Sun Turns Black.
Nice.
That one I really would have wanted in there. And Justice for All, Metallica.
Well done.
I mean, that was just in order to not make it an argument. You know what I mean? Like I had to. Yeah, I put it on.
We got two on the list. We got two Metallica albums on the list. Yep.
And I definitely think Justice, depending on your mood, depending on the day, you could argue is just as good or better than those.
Okay.
But man, fucking Justice for All. Again, very unique. Even if you take the Metallica, whatever, aura off of it, just such a weird, dry, sterile, relentless album, though.
Right.
Just such a weird thing. Yeah, those two and Invisible Touch, Genesis.
Okay.
I like that fucking album.
I know you do.
I mean, and just to remind folks at home here, so Invisible, I mean, everyone knows these songs.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
So Invisible Touch, Throwing It All Away, In Too Deep, Land of Confusion, Tonight. Those are great fucking songs.
I was going to say everyone knows these songs except for Phil Collins' daughter. I don't know if you saw this. Lily Collins is an actor, and she was on somebody's show, Jimmy Fallon or something like that, and they started asking her about her favorite Phil Collins songs, and she did not know many.
Wow.
It was pretty embarrassing. I think they had a strained relationship of some sort. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yes, everybody knows these.
Yeah.
So if you're our age-ish.
Phil Collins in the 8. I'm telling you, man, Phil Collins will be one of those guys when he dies, which might be sooner than later. He's not going to have health problems, right?
I don't know.
But I mean, I'm not like a huge Genesis fan or Phil Collins fan, but it's just there's so much shit.
There really is.
Like you go back to early Genesis and then his solo stuff and like No Jacket Required and Sussudio and then every fucking album. He had a big song on the soundtrack.
Yep.
And
yeah, that's true. He had tons of soundtrack work.
acting careers. Like he was fucking everywhere.
He really was. And for a dorky looking dude with a weird hairline.
Some fucking guy who's actually should be, or in an alternate timeline, he's just one of the best drummers of all time.
Oh, sure.
Like he'll get brought up with Bonham and other things like one of the great drummers, but then he just goes out and makes like a million fucking number one hits.
Full on pop star.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you got a few more.
That's good. Yeah, just a few more. Weezer's Blue album. I mean, we're two white guys in our 40s, late 40s. Weezer has to come up. There's a whole SNL bit about how much people like us love Weezer. I did not like it when it came out at all. I still kind of don't like Undone, the sweater song. But I've been re-listening to it lately. It's really fucking good. It's a great guitar rock album. The lyrics are silly at times, intentionally so, but other times incredible. Like Say It Ain't So is a fucking great song.
A great song.
It's a great song, and it's so heartfelt. There's nothing goofy about it. There's great harmonies. There's great, like the first song, My Name is Jonas, is fantastic. Yeah. And again, if we're talking about first lyrics in an album, the first lyrics of the Blue album are My Name is Jonas. And it's fucking ridiculous because the lead singer's name is not Jonas. And just to start an album, your debut album, by making a statement that you are someone that you're not, it's fucking genius. I love shit like that. Yeah. Anyway.
Did it have a name? Or was it just...
it was just called Weezer.
Okay.
Yep. And then they referred to it as the Blue album. Okay. My Name is Jonas, Buddy Holly.
Of course.
Undone, the sweater song, Say It Ain't So. I really like Holiday. I really like... Only in Dreams is fantastic. The World Has Turned and Left Me Here is also really good. So yeah. Sample of the genius lyrics of Rivers Cuomo on this album. I've got a Dungeon Master's Guide. I've got a 12-sided die. I've got Kitty Pryde and Nightcrawler 2 waiting there for me. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I've got posters on the wall. My favorite rock group, Kiss. I've got Ace Frehley. I've got Peter Criss waiting there for me. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Which I think that's from In the Garage. I think it's perfect. Like, it's perfect. This is a nerd who's also super into rock.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the guitars are super loud in the mix. One thing I learned about this album is that the producer treated the guitar and the bass as one 10-string instrument. So they play the same thing throughout the entire album. Okay. The bass is never playing anything different than the guitars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was really good.
All right. Throwing out a couple more, maybe the a few that there's not a whole lot to say because it's kind of obvious, but it just didn't make the cut. Coldplay Parachutes, I had in my top 100. He did not, or it would be on the list.
Right.
That sounds like the whole premise today.
It is, in case you're joining us late.
Right. Yeah, but Yellow, Trouble. Some would say the best Coldplay album.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right. I mean, certainly the darkest. You know, but
yeah, that's true.
Right. Like, I think I'm sure there's a ton of hipsters and purists that would be like, everything after Parachutes is garbage, you know, whatever. But yeah, Parachutes almost made it. Eminem Slim Shady LP. Debut, of course, with My Name Is, Role Model, Guilty Conscious. You know, we all know it's an important album, but I wanted it because I dig Eminem, but at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, I don't need to die on that hill.
And we did conclude Slim Shady LP.
Yes.
Yeah. And that was the case a lot of instances here when I go over some of them on my list where we already had an album and I kind of thought, at least when I was negotiating some of these, I'm like, yeah, if we get one album on the list, that's fine. Yeah. So on the 100 list anyway.
No, that's a good segue because there's some artists that you're probably wondering why they don't have anything on the list.
Yeah.
So, you know, I took like Beastie Boys. Now, granted, Beastie Boys ended up with Paul's Boutique. U2, I don't know if we had any.
No.
At the end of the day.
No.
Personally, I think Kanye West, White Stripes is another example. There's Weezer is one. There's a lot of bands that, again, our goal was to find the 100 best albums, period, with no constraints, no funny rules. But if you have, let's say you have a band that puts out a lot of very good albums and they have 7 very good albums, that with not much difference. Let's say they all have 2 or 3 great songs on them. If you're being honest, you have to make a choice. Either none of them make it or all 7 make it. And sometimes we did just pick one of those albums.
Yes.
Because the 100 would fill up very quickly.
Yes.
If it was like, again, REM is one of those bands. Kanye West, in my opinion, at least. But there's a bunch that Weezer.
Beastie Boys, we could have, like, we talked about License to Ill and Hello Nasty. We ended up putting Paul's Boutique on the list.
And Ill Communication. Like,
yeah.
We spoke for half an hour on Beastie Boys alone.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, okay, but if we put in 5 Beastie albums and 7 Kanye albums or whatever, now it's a 100 of shit of artists that everyone knows and has already been discussed to death. So yes, that was the one, I guess, asterisk on the whole. It's purely merit based.
Yeah.
We didn't have a hard and fast rule. If it was good enough, an artist got 3 or 4 albums on.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of artists, well, not a lot, but there's a handful of artists that have very strong careers that you're thinking, how the fuck could they not have one on this list? And the answer is because were they penalized for being consistent? Yeah, someone. Because if a band had 1 great album and 6 dog shit ones, the 1 great album probably is on here.
Yeah, that's fine.
But if you have 7 great ones, it's like, how do we differentiate?
Yeah.
So a lot of times we just sort of punted.
For sure. Yeah.
Left them off altogether.
Yeah.
So yes, so that was definitely a case with some artists. It's like, you know, catch us on a different day, and a different one of their albums could have been on the list.
For sure.
Yeah.
Other artists that I lobbied for that didn't make the list, or albums. Sea Change by Beck. We didn't have any Beck albums. I like Sea Change a lot.
Example.
Yeah. Great example, right? There's a few good songs on all the albums, although Sea Change is something wholly different. The Chronic didn't make it. Janet Jackson Control. I mean, the hits on that. We chose Rhythm Nation. I think it was number 100 or 99.
It's up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a few. I'd say the most surprising one on my list. Remember, these are ones that we put in the top 100. So if it was just us, these albums that you hear come out of our mouths would have been in the top 100. True. One of mine is Kid Rock, Devil Without a Cause. Look, Kid Rock is a piece of shit. Okay,
that's true.
Has been for a long time. But at one point, he wasn't a piece. I mean, he might have been a piece of shit in like a morality sort of sense.
Just like not a good dude.
Right. You know, and you could argue, well, not even argue, it's pretty much fact. His whole persona has kind of been a fraud, right? He plays off like from the streets of Detroit. He's up in Romeo at his dad's car dealership. Okay. That being said, Devil Without a Cause fucking was a banger of an album.
I mean, everyone listened to that.
Dude.
Well, I mean, we grew up in southeastern Michigan, so that was on at all the time.
But even then, like I Am the Bull God, Bow with the Ba, Cowboy, Only God Knows Why, Wasting Time. I mean, one of my favorite rap bars, I guess. I mean, I'm calling it rap when it's Kid Rock, but you know, he had right after this, he did the History of Rock, which was kind of a money grab.
Oh yeah.
Right. Cause like now he's huge and famous and it's like, here's all my old shit.
Yeah. Right.
It's called the History of Rock. But he had American Badass.
Oh, right.
Which was sad, but true.
That's right.
Fantastic choice.
That was a good choice.
But then like the one kind of couplet there where he says like, you know, So like I said, I'm going platinum selling rhymes.
Okay.
I went platinum 7 times.
That's pretty good.
It's true. So yeah, that's a great fucking album.
Yeah.
I mean, I will almost never listen to it anymore.
No.
But it's kind of hard to, if you're taking an honest look and you're in the late 90s, like that thing was everywhere.
It was everywhere.
And a great showman at one point in time.
He was.
He would start the show with Bow at the Ba and the fur coat and the fucking fireworks.
Yeah, exactly.
Before he went all brain rot. Word of the year, by the way.
Brain rot.
Yeah.
I don't think I know that word.
No, it's like, the concept of like people are just fucking getting dumber.
Okay.
Yeah. I had Jason Isbell, Something More Than Free. I can accept Southeastern being a better album, but this is my favorite.
Gotcha.
So I wanted it on, but
I remember that conversation.
Yeah, I know that 2 Isbell was probably pushing it.
Yeah.
Given the competition. And then for REM, I had Out of Time and Monster, both on my list.
I had Murmur, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of REM, but we just kind of couldn't really line up other on the couple that we.
Yeah.
I think 2 or 3 made it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it.
I've got a few more.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Great.
I thought I was throwing it back to you. From
No, I got nothing. No, the only thing I haven't mentioned so far is Slow Dive Slovaki. That I don't think actually belongs in the top 200, but I play it all the time. All the time. So as far as, because it's good, great background music. So I don't think that could technically qualify as top 200 of all time. Bjork's Homogenic. It was a debate between Post and Homogenic. What else here? Lana Del Rey's Born to Die.
Yep.
Again, that was tough. Lana Del Rey was tough because she's so consistent. There are a few clunkers in there, but there are a number of, we chose Norman fucking Rockwell, but Born to Die is fucking great.
Yeah.
Pure Heroine, Lord. So that, we didn't include a Lord album.
No, we didn't.
No. Okay. Yeah.
And then the 2 Kanye's that I tried to get in there. Well, one, I mean, straight Kanye was Late Registration. But it's really tough. All albums pre-Twisted Fantasy, it's really tough to, okay, this one should make it, this one shouldn't.
Sure.
As you know, I had My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy as the #1 album of our lifetime.
That's right.
Stand by that. Proud of that. Also had Watch the Throne. Watch the Throne was fantastic. The Jay-Z and Kanye.
I never listened to that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the N-words in Paris.
N-words in
right?
Paris, I know that.
But there's a lot of great songs on there.
Okay.
And U2, I had Octoon Baby.
Okay.
Which is the only one that really stood. U2 is one of those bands, at least for me, I'm sure maybe some people watching feel the same way. You think, there's no fucking way that they don't have one of their albums. But then if you start going through the songs that you know and love from them, it turns out they're spread out over like 4 albums.
Yes.
And it's like,
very much so.
Because believe me, we went through the same process. Like, look, it's fucking U2, right? So you start looking at it and it's like, we're looking at the track list and I'm like, oh yeah, classic, 8 songs never heard of.
Right.
And it's like, it just keeps happening over and over.
Yes.
But Octoon Baby had One, Mysterious Ways, even better than The Real Thing, which again, that's not a murderer's row, but it's still, that's kind of the best concentration of hits.
It's just when you're making this list, you are also thinking of the biggest bands of the time.
That's true.
And also remember, folks, we took into consideration album sales.
Yeah.
So there are names like U2 that came up that we did want to include because we thought it'd be a good representation of what actually the best stuff is out there.
Yeah.
But to Tank's point, there's just not enough good songs on any one album.
I had Tool, Anima, Stinkfist.
Okay. That's a great song.
46 and 2. Wallflowers, Bringing Down the Horse.
Okay.
I stand by. That's a great fucking album.
Okay.
6th Avenue Heartache, One Headlight, The Difference, 3 Marlenas.
Those are all
good songs.
Big songs, yeah.
Big songs.
Yeah.
Well, the Wallflowers were huge at one point.
Yeah, they were, weren't they?
Seal, the 1991 version with Crazy, Future Love Paradise, and Killer. Big Seal fan.
Yeah.
Seal's another great example of, well, really his first 3 albums. After that, it's kind of got
diminishing returns.
Yeah, Tori Amos syndrome. I had Santana, Supernatural. That's kind of, it became almost too much for its own good.
Yes.
But it just had a lot of good songs on it. Remember the Everlast, Put Your Lights On?
No, I never had that album. I know the singles, obviously.
But yeah, I mean, all you killers, Put Your Lights On. Put your lights on.
Yeah.
And Maria.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were changing subjects and going into an Everlast album. Sorry. No, I do remember that song from this.
Yes.
From Santana. Okay.
But yeah, and plus it's a very rare occurrence when it kind of pulls generations together.
Yeah, that was cool.
You don't see that much.
Yeah.
So I threw that on there, but I didn't want to defend it enough. Sade, Lovers Rock. Again, if you hear Lovers Rock,
run.
Yeah.
Impenetrable, but I like it.
No, you're going to like it.
Jesus.
I believe that's it from my... and final one, Modest Mouse, good news for people who love bad news. Great songs.
Yeah.
Kind of falls apart.
It does fall
after
apart.
there's a drop off after 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But it was close, and I do love that album.
Yeah, it's a good album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all mine.
Yeah.
The only out and out mistake, and shout out to Oct, Billy Joel and Innocent Man. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Like, because he suggested it, I went back and looked. I'm like, I got no notes. Should have been on the list. At least for me. I mean, it's like 7 or 8 fucking. You think it's a greatest hits, looking at the track listing.
Right. What were you telling me about that it was meant to be a tribute to eras in music or something like that?
So there's like, I didn't realize it until, again, my Wikipedia, my Lord and Savior. But like, Tell Her About It is a tribute to like the Supremes era. And then there's like, and it makes perfect sense. So
there's a doo-wop song. There's
Yeah. So on top of it, the Longest Time.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like on top of just being a tremendous collection of singles, apparently it was also like an ode to the American songbook. Like, yeah. I don't know what
should
happened
make the list.
Yeah. And I don't know how Billy Joel slipped through the cracks. You would think that it would have been that he would have gotten picked up in the top 10 of each year.
Yes.
So the only thing I could think of is that he hovered between 10 and 20 in so many fucking years that
he must have.
Because remember, folks, if you go back to the bucket of greatness, whatever the fuck we called it, there was critics and sales. And Billy Joel might be one of those things that just slips in between, like, not quite a critical darling, not quite a sales powerhouse.
Maybe just
living in between.
Yeah. And the time he was around, he had the pop star was such a thing that he was getting buried underneath Michael Jackson, Madonna, right, Prince, all this kind of stuff. Okay.
So, yeah, that one. And if there's any that you think we out and out missed, and don't be a dipshit about it.
Right.
You might have some favorite albums, but are they really that good? And if you sit and you reflect on it, and you think it is, go ahead and put it in the comments.
Yeah, don't come with any weak shit. I want you to sit and think for maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then respond. Right. As I understand it, that's how the comment section on the internet works.
I think so. It's all well-reasoned, peer-reviewed takes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
Yeah. But don't come at me with like fucking Rex in effect and say, why was this album not on the list? Or White Lion.
Man.
Yeah.
Solid debut.
Man, you never hear White Lion.
No, I like 2 songs off that album, the first album.
Pride?
Yes, it's called, which is a great name for an album if you're called White Line.
Yeah.
Tell Me and Wait.
What about When the Children Cry?
I hate that song.
Yeah, it's a little.
My memory's so bad. One of our friends was talking to we know someone who thinks When the Children Cry is the greatest song of all time. Yeah, it is not.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, so
any other thoughts on the list?
No, I mean,
other than the top 10, which you're going to see soon.
I'm really, I had a couple spoilers. I nearly spoiled next week's episode. So I'm really looking forward to putting that out into the world. I mean, again, I agree with Tank. I'll put our list up against any list and we fucking kill them.
Yeah, and comment section, you put your own fucking 100 in there. And if we think it's better, we will retire and we'll give you these microphones.
That's
you
right.
fucking do it.
That's right. But you have to sign a legally binding contract where you have to do the 10 episodes on your albums.
Yeah. Right? And don't be like, no.
Yeah.
And just sit there and bitch about other people's lists and not put your own out.
That's right.
We
did the work, folks.
Bald-headed freak. I get so, it's my new hate watching obsession.
I do hate watch him.
I watch reviews and I'm like, it's just like every fucking mannerism pisses me off.
Yeah, he has a very punchable face. I really just want to, and I'm not a violent person, but I want to knock him out. It's that stupid mustache and the glasses. Yeah, I know it's a thing he's going for, but man, is it irritating.
And the fucking character he does from time to time.
I hate the introductions.
Yeah.
Like if it's about Kendrick Lamar, he'll go,
oh, yeah. Yep, and then with that stupid flashing.
So bad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and by the way, we're going to start next season or whatever, soon after.
Yeah.
He does terrible takes on a band's discography. We're going to do it and fix it.
I like that.
Yeah, because he fucked it up.
Yeah.
And he has poor taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Anyway, that's a lot of time spent on another person's podcast, which you should not watch.
No, or whatever. As long as you subscribe to us, do whatever the fuck you want.
That's right.
But we're taking you down, Melon. Fucking A. A Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, a 6? Go fuck yourself. All right.
Yeah.
Now, next week, though, the top 10. We're going to put our money where our collective mouths are. And drink some Shanky's Whip.
Shanky's Whip.
when you want to strip, Shanky's Whip. It's usually what happens.
I mean, let's be honest.
That or urgent care. Those are the two outcomes.
That's really all that's what you got in store for you.
Every flow chart of drinking Shanky's Whip ends up at one or two places. Naked or urgent care.
That's right.
Sometimes both.
I mean, does that not sell this product?
Right.
Right. Shanky's Whip people still looking for that official sponsorship.
Maybe next season we'll just do one episode where we're just fucked up on Shanky's Whip. To see what happens.
Jesus. We'll have to roll back the tape because we won't remember any of it. Prior experience.
We'll be watching it with you guys. So I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
we should live stream our reaction to it. That could be really good.
All kinds of stuff in store for you. I would say season 6, but we're not going to do seasons anymore. Little sneak preview.
Yeah, that's true.
We're gonna go with the numbered episode.
Yeah, we'll be free flowing.
Yeah, like my nuts.
Impenetrable, but I like it. I do not. Past E.
All right, folks, that's it for us being all wacky at the end of this episode.
That's right.
But come back next week for the top 10.
That's right.
10 great fucking albums.
That's right. See you later. See you later.
Bye, folks.